Can I just jump in? In terms of guilt, and I'm just going to tease you a little bit now, every time you turn on your television, you watch a sitcom or reality show or your news broadcast, you should feel very, very guilty because you have no idea the crap people are going through behind the scenes. Luckily, a great many of those people work with the protection of unions and have some recourse to not be completely exploited. But this whole thing about what is going on below the line, what is happening in the workplace, in the film industry, in the video industry, it should be of concern across the board. And it's not.
But don't you think this is a central question, which I'll be exploring in my next book, which is, there is something, you know, people have really awful days at work and they have bad work environments. Like they come home and they're like, my coworker is an asshole. My boss is mentally fucking ill and takes it out on me. Like, you know what I mean? People have horrible work experiences and they have jobs that they keep for like 10 years in these horrible conditions. But when you come home from a porn set and you have a bad day at work, and I'm saying that some people are like, that dude was a douchebag. His dick was too big and now I feel sore. You know what I mean? Like, these are things you hear from porn performers, right? It's like, yeah, I'm never gonna work with that guy again. He's like, smells, or whatever it is. It's like, I had a bad day. But because your body is on the line, because your work is sex work, we are all supposed to be way more outraged.
Yeah, people are just starting to get outraged about the concussion problem in professional football. I mean, this is a world of professional sports where you are chewed up and spit out as a young person. Your body is everything. It's gladiator stuff. We watch them, we cheer, we're amazed, we're shocked. And then, you know, what happens to them when they're not wanted anymore? You're too old, your knees are bad, or whatever.
Well, there's always celebrity rehab, though.
A little celebrity, yeah. Well, how many people can be on that show? And that, again, you never have to hang your head and say, I played in the NFL. Please don't consider me less than you. You know, like as opposed to porn, where that stigma is so awful. And also, when you look at porn that makes you sometimes, I think, having been raised guilty, raised Catholic, there's something. Guilty. The things I looked at that made me get anxious inside were things that turned me on and were taboo and upsetting, and but all of that was caught up in the arousal. It didn't have to do with whether the people who produced it, whether it was real or fantasy, or, you know, it just had to do with what was inside of me. Now some of the things I think about my older fantasies, they sound so quaint. You know, I sound like an antique Paris postcard.
Wait, well, what about the one on the cross with the gang rape?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I mean. I found anything to do with crucifixes really hot.
That's not quaint.
Quaint? Well, you know, I've tried to go to a couple of masses just as like a cultural observer recently, and it's so bland and boring, and they don't use this. Not only is it not in Latin, it's not even the kind of English that I remember that Mass used to be said in. And it's also like all the ritual and mystery. I sound like my mother, has been taken out of it. And the sexiness gone, you know? So that's what comes to mind. I also went to 42nd Street. Maybe, I don't know how old we are, what time it was, but I went with Debbie and Nan and a couple of queens, and we stormed Show World. And they tried to keep us out because they thought we were part of the Women Against Pornography people, and we were like, fuck you, we're whores, we're coming in, and we're paying customers. And my particular interest that night was in California. They had, at the time, a law, you could not have a male-female love act, and the reason that lesbian acts were promoted so, you know, crazy is because you could do that. But to have a male-female love act, that you could have at Show World. And I remember this couple, oh, they had this crummy little carpet and a turntable that played a song with a skip in it, and I was like, this should be a nice carpet. You know, like I remember talking to them afterwards. You do 7 shows a day and they can't give you a nice oriental rug. I just think that's wrong. You know?
We don't want to dismiss or discount. I think, obviously, for me, the porn that I make, the working conditions of the performers are paramount, and it's really important to treat sex workers as human beings and to value their work, even if their work is sex, because I value sex and I think the work they do is important. And so I think they should, you know, have a nice oriental rug if they want one. Right?
That's often what it comes down to.
Yeah, or a bed, you know.